Donna Bolton coming to you from Marion Hall. You know, we're not able to be together this year as we usually are for our annual Women's Lighting the Way, so I was asked to do a dessert presentation. And since I'm often asked whether or not I would ever do a cake decorating demo, I thought I would combine the two. Cupcakes. I think they're irresistible. And when I show you how easy it is to do this simple yet elegant swirl, you're going to be making these all the time. Cupcakes, I really do think they're the friendliest dessert. But let's start with some basics. Cake. You can certainly make your own from scratch or use a cake mix. And there's nothing wrong with a cake mix. You may want to think about augmenting it a little bit by adding an extra egg, substituting melted butter for the oil that's called for, and substituting milk for the water. Whatever you use, it'll be great. I always make one sample cupcake so I know how much batter to put in the liner. Yeah, liners. We've had a rocky relationship over the years because no matter how pretty they are in the container when you buy them, I've never had a lot of success with them looking this nice after I bake the cake. That's why I love these new little baking cups that I found a few months ago at the home goods store. I've even recently sourced some of these beautiful ones for the holidays, this embossed silver. What I like about them is the cake does not show through. However pretty your little baking cup is, that's how pretty it's going to be after you bake your cupcake. And you do not need to use muffin tins. Just put them on a cookie sheet. The other thing I like is how nicely they stand in a cupcake display and how easily they release. Just tear open this little cupcake paper and your cupcake releases beautifully without half of it sticking to the liner. So certainly use what you've got, but if you happen to see these, you may want to investigate. The next thing is frosting. The only way you're going to fail at this project is if you use the frosting that you get in the cake mix aisle. Yeah, these are nice. Single serving size is very nice because with a spoon and a holiday movie, you've got an evening of fun ahead of you. But this will not work for this project. You need the Wilton Buttercream recipe. I always make a double batch because you always need more than you think you're going to need. This is 15 ounces for about $1.75. I priced it out. I made a double batch of the buttercream, the Decorator Buttercream, 48 ounces for just $2 more than what this costs. And I timed myself, 10 minutes. So the recipe is 2 sticks of softened butter, 1 cup of Crisco. Crisco for the stability that you need when you decorate, butter for the flavor. Cream that very, very well until it looks like a vanilla pudding. Add your flavoring. I like to use vanilla or a little almond. And then you're going to need a 2-pound bag of powdered sugar. I put in about 1/4 of the bag, blend it real well, and then another 1/4 of the bag. And at that point, you're going to need your liquid. I measured it out. The recipe is spot on. Use 1/4 cup of milk and you're going to have the perfect consistency for piping. Put the rest of the bag in, blend it until it is creamy, and this is what you're going to get. This is a double batch, and you can see it's just beautiful. This is going to treat you right, and it's going to make your project a huge success. Now, another little tool that we need is a decorator bag. You can buy 10 or 12 of them in a small little package for about $4.50 at the hobby shops. I measured it last night, and if you cut down 1 3/4, I marked it, 1 3/4 inches, just snip that off. that is the perfect size opening for your tip. And what a tip it is. It's 1M. Wilton 1M. The Hobby Lobby brand also has 1M. I think the M stands for magic because it sure seems like that once you start using it. You're going to want to take your tip and very gingerly put it into the bag. You don't want to accidentally pierce the bag with the tip. And just kind of work it in and you're set to go. I like to use a tall glass when I'm teaching someone how to fill a bag. It just makes it a little bit easier. And then you've got a perfect opening for your frosting. But frosting color, that's another thing. I keep this little box around. I think it's because it reminds me of my mom. Our mothers and our grandmothers, this was the only show in town. Problem is when you start decorating, it waters down your frosting and you don't get that rich, gorgeous, dramatic color that we want in our finished product. You might want to start looking, certainly use what you've got, but start looking for these gel food colorings. I think they make all the difference in the final look of your product. Now, let's put some frosting in here and get going. Don't overfill your bag. I think that's a mistake because it's easier to handle if you've only put in maybe just for one big scoop. You can always add more, and you will be adding more, but it's easier for you to handle if you don't have quite so much in there. Put it in and just work it down to the tip. There you go. You are in charge. You're the boss of this bag. This frosting ain't going anywhere without you telling it to. And the tip is going to do all the hard work. So work it down and then twist. You don't want that frosting coming back at you. You have the upper hand. And when you're ready, I like to hold it with my left hand. I'm right-handed. And use your dominant hand just to apply even, steady pressure. When you want to be done, stop pressing and lift up. If you continue to press while you're lifting up, you're going to get like a little DQ loop on it, and that may not be what you want. But I like to start on the outer edge, squeeze, and then a smaller circle. And when you're done, stop and lift up. You know, I've made hundreds of cupcakes and I still get a kick out of seeing how pretty and how professional and how quick this is. But this is only going to take you part of the way. You're going to have to get good at this, and there's nothing that makes you better than practice. And while you're practicing, if you don't like the way it looks, scrape it off and put it back in the bag. You can reuse it. And remember what Julia Child always said. What happens in the kitchen stays in the kitchen. Who's to know? And she is so right. Just keep doing it until you get it. Once you get this, there is no end to what you can do. In fact, I just want to show you something else that's real fun. After you get the swirl, you can do something else. I combined a lot of the different frostings I used in our displays today into one bag, and with just a simple up and down motion, just little stars, oops, just keep going, little stars. Build it up as much as you want. Why, I think it looks like a hydrangea, but you can use your imagination and food colorings to get any kind of effect you want. Whether it be a swirl or these sweet little stars put together, you can't go wrong. Now, some coloring ideas I had since we are in Advent. I thought of a beautiful tone on tone, green on green. If you haven't been down the cake food aisle, the cake decorating aisle at your hobby shop, you are in for an afternoon of fun. Joann's has a huge display, as does Hobby Lobby and Michael's. It's just so much fun to see all, and you know what, don't forget edible glitter, because I like to use different things. Why choose just one thing? Use 2 or 3 different applications on one cupcake. So an evergreen cupcake. How about just doing some green swirls and letting your kids decorate their own little Advent wreath cupcake? You're going to want to add the sprinkles before the frosting dries. But look at this, purple and pink. Have a little Advent lesson with the children while you do this. The other thing I thought of is, what about tone on tone, which is always so classy looking. Here's some purple on purple, rose on rose. And porches have been getting a real workout during this pandemic. I know we've been the recipient of sweet little gifts that have been left by others. Brightens our days. How about putting some of these cupcakes on somebody's doorstep? If you wait for the frosting to dry, you can put them on a plate and slip them in a Ziploc bag very easily. How about 3 purple and a pink on somebody's doorstep? When they call you to tell you how grateful they are for such a delicious treat, maybe they'll ask you, what's the deal with the purple and the pink? Isn't it Christmas? Shouldn't it be red and green? And then you can have a little Advent lesson for them. But nothing beats fun during this time of the year. I found these beautiful little, to me they look Grinchy. Take your cupcake and just add some of these beautiful Grinch-inspired sprinkles. That's fun for the kids too. But I was thinking about Christmas Eve, and I came up with this idea. I found a midnight blue gel food coloring. Midnight blue for the night sky over Bethlehem. White sprinkles for the purity of Mary. White pearls, actually. Edible white pearls. And gold for the king that she brought forth. But whatever you do, it's going to be great. You're going to be very successful. You can do this. You've got it. And one of the best things about Women Lighting the Way is how it reminds us that we really do have the privilege of setting the tone for celebrations in our homes. And as faith-filled women, we can do that. Yes, we can find the joy, even during a worldwide pandemic. And I can almost hear you now asking that all-important question. Who wants a cupcake?